Are you guys working to become interviewers as well? Are you working to be camera guys? What's
I'm working to be a reporter.
a reporter? Reporter.
So now,
All right, nice, good stuff.
the industry's changed.
Yeah.
Now, where before you'd have a live truck and 3 guys on the truck, and you'd have the sound guy, the camera. Now everyone's called backpack journalists.
Yeah, they bring their own stuff and they do it themselves.
So it's an
It's amazing.
deal.
Yeah, it's amazing. I noticed that this time around. I've been the subject of controversy a few times, and over the years I've seen it change. This go around, all the reporters were just showing up with literally their backpack. They'd set up something like that and one-stop shopping. Your question is, with the lawsuit that's going on, is it directly for me, or is it helping others in the community? Okay. When I went to court on the 23rd, the judge decided to narrowly interpret his ruling to apply to just my gym. This one, the 23rd, will affect everybody because we're challenging the constitutionality at the state level of the legality of the mandates. So if the judge says, yes, we agree with you, the mandates are illegal, I'm striking them down, well, that means it's struck down for everybody. Now, let me give you one caveat on that. That's coming from me, not the legal guy. Like, I'm coming from the end user. Like, I'm the guy that's receiving the product of the justice system. That's my understanding of it. You know, some legal beagle may give you a different answer.
So why did you choose Paul Kingsley out of all the other lawyers that are fighting against the lawsuit, the coronavirus and stuff like that?
I chose Paul Cambria specifically because he defended Larry Flint. And I know that I'm a controversial guy. I know that I have controversial positions. I never, ever, ever back down from anything I say. I'm not shy about the controversy, and I know I create a good amount of controversy, and I knew I needed somebody that was willing to deal with a guy that was very set in his ways. Like, I am so sworn to freedom. I needed somebody that was willing to deal with somebody who was as hard-headed as I was. I know Paul could not always see the best, but he's dealt with somebody like me before.
So you became an overnight sensation because of the interview on Fox and social media. How has that affected your life personally with the viewers and everything, and your business and your personal life?
So your question is, how has the notoriety, if you will? I'm sorry, Chesty. I need you to go. You got to go. He just wants to play. So your question is, how has the notoriety that I've gotten from being thrust into the limelight with this, how it has affected my personal life and my business? The business, certainly, I think it was healthy for the business. It thinned out the population a little bit. A healthy culling of the herd, if you will. I know I am not, this position, this commitment, should I start over? I don't mind starting over. Let me put him away. Do you want me to do that, put him away, or is he not bothering you? I'll start over again from the top. Oh, okay, all right. Chesty, he'll play with you. He'll play tug, go ahead, go on. He'll play tug of war with you. Yeah, his name's Chesty. So, yeah, how has the notoriety from this, from me being thrust into the limelight with this protest, how has it affected my life and my business? I think it definitely had a positive effect on the business. In one sense, there was like a healthy culling of the herd. My position, my absolute belief and commitment to freedom is not for everybody. Some people are uncomfortable with how passionate I am about fighting for freedom and the fact that I'm willing to put everything on the line. Some people aren't willing to put everything on the line. I don't begrudge them that, but they just don't like the heat. They don't like the heat of being around somebody that's willing to lay it all on the line. So I think the people that weren't comfortable with that have left. What has remained are very strong-minded, passionate people that love this country. And I think it's really interesting to point out that I'm not talking about political ideology. I couldn't have a more diverse group of people in this gym. Like every demographic, political leaning, but we all love freedom and we respect we respect freedom. So that means the freedom to have different opinions, the freedoms to talk about those opinions, the freedoms to fight for things that are important. So that's been really good for the business. My personal life, my kids don't mind the fact that we walk into Wegmans and we can't walk through Wegmans without people coming up and thanking me and shaking my hand and all that. And I've come in and talked to their classes. Their teachers have asked me to come in and talk to them about freedom and about the importance of being very careful with controlling an economy and how you shut down an economy and what effect it has on families. So overall, I think it's been a very positive effect on my personal life, my business, my family. And I think fighting for what's right is always, how can fighting for what you believe in ever be bad for you? I mean, even if it brings you more hardship, if it's right, it's the right thing to do, so it's got to be good for you.
What would you say to other business owners who are struggling with this, to stay open, to even just with the capacity and everything?
Right.
What would you say to them?
Fight. Fight. No, nobody's going to fight for you. You have to fight. You know, when we won our first case on the 23rd, and I said to Paul, hey, Paul, should I have like other gym owners call you? He said, nope, I don't want to deal with them. I said, why not? He said, they should have been willing to fight. Right? He wants to work with winners. If people want to be winners, they need to stand up and fight. Like winners want the ball, right? These guys have to get up and they have to fight for their freedom. They have to do something. They can't just sit back and keep saying, well, if I just comply a little while longer, the government will finally get off my back. The government will never get off your back. I worked for the government for 14 years. The government will never get off your back. They'll only take and take and take and take. So if business owners want to get their freedom back, they have to stand up and fight. They have to do something. They have to be willing to sacrifice. They have to stand up and fight.
Absolutely. Just one more, two questions here I believe you guys.
Okay.
How do you think you're being represented in the news through the mainstream channels? How's your story being represented?
Your question is, how am I being represented by the news? I think that you'll get represented how you let people represent you. I think that newscasters, generally speaking, they like to do it. I think they do a pretty darn good job. Local media, I think they do a pretty darn good job. I don't feel like anybody has cast aspersions my way. I think, the Buffalo News certainly tried writing a few hit pieces. I'll give you an example. The Buffalo News asked me some questions about some controversial statements. They wanted comments from me on controversial statements that I made. And I said, well, I'm willing to do an interview about it, but I want to do it in person, and I want to make sure it's, we talk through everything. They had a deadline to make, and they refused to come and ask me. They only wanted me to confirm or deny via the phone about these comments. So they never spoke to the person that made the accusations. They only had it on secondhand knowledge. They had the opportunity to speak to me in person about it. Literally, because they had a deadline, they said no. And so they went with the story. So I think some news outlets are just more worried about a deadline, and other news outlets are more concerned with getting an unbiased portrayal of the story out. I think that more news outlets should probably get involved and should probably try to get stories like this out. But the ones that do, I think they really do a nice job of getting it straight.
Is there anything that you want to get out there, clear up, say to the public as you have this platform now?
I appreciate that you're asking. Is there anything else I want to say while we're doing this interview? Yes. Freedom can never be replaced with anything. Our freedom cannot stop where somebody else's fear starts. Freedom is the most valuable thing we have, and people have to be willing to sacrifice for it. We've got to be willing to give up whatever it takes to pass on the freedoms that we've enjoyed to the next generation. So it's worth fighting for. It's worth standing up for what you believe in. And if you believe in it, how can you be wrong? So fight for what you believe in.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, no problem at all.